Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. This is part 2 of police brutality against young people of color, or people of color in general. So, alright, we know that there's been one hellacious clusterfuck this week. To the family of the young people who have passed, I am sorry. You should probably not watch these videos, because I touch on some salient points that are offensive but true. Okay, so I can't breathe. I can't breathe has been used as an excuse by criminals for cops in the past who have let those criminals up and those cops have been taken out, which is a long line of people who were faking it. So cops aren't sure and they don't trust a person that they're taking into custody with the I can't breathe. But at the same time, cops ought to know if you're standing on the man's neck, his airwave is being constricted. And cops don't seem to give a shit that their airwave is constricted. Now, this is the part that pisses me off, is because from the videos I saw, they had the guy handcuffed and they walked him across the street. He was complying. They don't show how it became a scuffle and how he got on the ground. That does not give the officers an excuse. It does not give the officers a hand or a break at any of this shit. Because when you see the video and he walked across the street, he had two cops behind him escorting him across the street, and everything looked fine, and he was very, very compliant. Then when the videos come out, and I haven't seen all of them, but the one I did see with him all over the place and the guy at the wheel, behind the wheel or whatever, with his knee in the guy's neck, in the back of his neck at that. I'm going to tell you something as a martial artist. This is very important, so you better listen. The back of your neck is a lifeline. Alright? And I was taught this by other martial artists. My sensei, Master Ennis, didn't like it. I was taught by a different sensei. It wasn't Master Ennis. I was taught this as a child. And I know that these vertebrae back here, if you push too hard on one or two of these suckers, it's a done deal. You can snap your larynx, or you can break that spine and it can rip into your sarcophagus, and all kinds of bad news can happen. So where that guy's knee was probably on one of those bones back there. Now, I'm not a doctor. I can break you. I can't fix you. Okay? Let me explain that so that people won't make a judgment call on that. As a martial artist, also depending on your form of martial arts, your style of martial arts, your teacher, your honor, and situation, there's not a lot of honor in being exceptionally brutal in a fight. Alright? You don't have to brutalize somebody to beat them. You don't. But there are going to be a chosen few people who don't have honor and who are going to brutalize you. At the same time, there's going to be people who don't mean to brutalize you, but are a victim of circumstance and shit happens. Which is why when somebody tells you, look, I know martial arts. If you want to spar, we can go a couple of rounds. But if we're going to fight, we need to get the gear on and fight, or we need to just walk away. Pray that y'all both have the knowledge to walk away. Because if you get into a macho pissing contest, somebody's going to get hurt. It's really that simple. I tell people all the time, and people laugh at me, and I tell them, nah, man, because if we really get to fighting, I'm not fighting for a win. I'm not fighting to win. I'm fighting to destroy you, because that's what I was trained to do. Now, a lot of martial artists didn't like me when I was younger, because when I went to schools like the Seven Tigers and International Black Belt Center, I asked them if I could fight for a belt, and they told me, get the hell out my dojo. And then I asked them, I said, well, before I leave, how do we know we're good if we don't fight? Which, again, they told me, get the hell out my dojo. And I left, which is very disrespectful for Sifus to disrespect another martial artist. Get the hell out my dojo is not a respectful. It's more like, could you please leave and never come back? I didn't get that. I got, get the hell out my dojo. And hell is editing. Alright? Now, I don't know if those guys are still around. And I don't care. But I told them the same thing I told Mr. Ennis before he went Way of the Samurai. I said, I know that I can fight. because I was doing fighting before I even learned martial arts. I know that I'm good enough with my martial arts that I can take on people in the streets if someone messes with me. Right? Which is the whole point of why people take martial arts in the first place, is so that they can defend themselves in unbelievable scenarios that more than likely will never happen to you unless you go to a different town and you look at somebody the wrong way. And then they get a raw hair up their ass and now they want to fight. 9 times out of 10, as a martial artist, you learn ways to totally immobilize people without hurting them. I had the benefit of learning ways to totally immobilize people and hurt them at the same time. And for those who, for a matter of opinion, you're not going to agree with me if you're a martial artist, and I don't care. I can prove it, but I don't care. Pressure points do work. And skill sets do work. And size doesn't matter. I'm going to explain that. Because there are a lot of people. I'm small as hell. And the first thing they'll tell you is size don't matter, size don't matter. Or, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, I'm going to beat you. I left that shit off. Because when I was in the Army, I'm the smallest guy in my platoon. And then there were other small guys in the platoon. And then they was talking to us, and they had a guy who said, there was a soldier who was 5'1". You don't want to fuck with him. Because not only was he good with these hands, he was good with his guns and his knives. So size doesn't matter. Don't let somebody's size scare you away from a fight. Yeah, they're bigger. There's one thing that you both got in common. You're both human. You both feel pain. Yeah, he's bigger, he's stronger. Use your natural talents. Just because he's bigger and stronger doesn't mean he's faster. It doesn't mean he's better. You cannot fight someone else's fight. Fight your fight. Drag them into your fight. Don't get dragged into their fight. Size does not matter. Pressure points do work. Here's the thing, as a martial artist, your skill set is the most important thing. Alright? I know my weakness in BJJ. I suck at it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not for me. I am not a ground and pounder. Now, here's reality. You got to get me down to use any of your BJJ shit. You have to get me down. I ain't gonna allow that to happen. Alright? Pretty girl, it'll probably happen. I will probably let a pretty woman take me down just so I can have connection. But in a real fight, nope. Nope. Pretty boy, pretty girl, nope. Nope. You have to get me down. Understand that. You also have to understand what I was taught wasn't what you were taught. Alright? When it comes to immobilizing someone, this is a chokehold. This is a chokehold. Your knee in the back of my neck or in the front of my neck is a frickin' chokehold. Understand that if your knee is here, it is constricting. You see how hard it is for me to talk? And I'm just barely pushing on my throat. I'm not even using full power onto my throat. As you can see, things change when a little bit of power is added into the game. It doesn't take much. It takes approximately 2 to 5 pounds to break the human neck. Yeah, this is the part where other martial artists chime in and tell you guys that I'm full of shit. I'm not. It takes 2 to 5 pounds to break a neck. It might take 5 pounds of pressure to break a leg. 10 pounds of pressure. Depends on whose body that leg is on. But in life, in general, your neck is probably the weakest component of your body. Alright? You don't have to believe me. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you when it comes to martial arts. Your neck is your lifeline in martial arts. It is easy for you to cripple someone by damaging their neck. You may not mean to do it. It may be an accident, but it can happen. Alright, no, I have not crippled anybody to my knowledge. But what I was taught was, if someone overextends and gets past me, and I knee them in the gut, I made a video about this, and then I elbow smash them in the neck, or I punch them in the neck, or if they get past me and I elbow them and we ride them down, and they hit their face on the ground, I may very have broken their neck. on the ride down. Maybe not from the elbow smash itself, but on the ride down. If they swing past and they're low, and I hit them in one of these vertebrae back here, I'm going to do significant damage. Not insignificant, but significant. And I was taught to do that. Period. I was taught to do that because it's a showstopper. Alright? That neck is a very thin component in your life. When you watch bodybuilders, their neck, it thickens up, but it's not hard. If you watch Thai fighters, real Thai fighters, the ones that take the 8-hour beating with the rods from childhood to adulthood so that it hardens their body, there's no protection for your front of your neck. There's no protection for the back of your neck. So when you watch point karate and they're in full gear, that helmet doesn't go to your neck. That shoulder vest doesn't go to your neck. The face things stop here, and you have a chin strap, and it goes around your head, and that gives you minimum concussion protection, but not a whole lot of concussion protection. You have foot guards on top of the instep of your foot to reduce the impact. These are to protect your opponent as well as yourself. Your hands are open. You have the thumb and the whole claw thing. You have that. It's not like a full-on boxing glove where your whole hand's sealed up in there. You can wear knee pads, and they protect your knees. But in points and stuff, you're not allowed to kick people in the knees anyway. The shin kick is probably a point in the thigh, and then anywhere in the upper body. Which is why you have those vests on. And yeah, they're bulky as hell, but they're your protector, you know. And they go all the way around your back. Just under the shoulder blades or just of the shoulder blades. It just depends on who's fitting you for the damn thing. But there is no protection for your neck. You can have elbow pads, but again, you're in a gi. In the gi, you wear all the pads and stuff outside of the gi for these sports. And the thing about that is, no matter what, there's no neck protection. And neck strikes to the back of the neck are illegal, I think. So I will tell you in the, another video I had made. I had a friend, shout out to CLS, who had a friend who was going into MMA. And CLS asked me what would I do when somebody's coming in for a scoop slam. I'm going to say, well, what I was taught to do, because I might not be able to avoid the guy because the guy's stronger than me, was to put both of my knees into his guts, solar plexus, or lungs, and drive both of my elbows into the center of his shoulder blades because there's pressure points there. I learned that while taking Kempo, also judo. And the thing about that is, you know, that's one way of totally immobilizing because I'm hitting them in the lungs. You can't breathe if you can't get air in there. So if I'm doing that, I have immobilized my target while he's going to body slam me and I just clap down on him. It'll work. I avoid getting body slammed all the time. You know, and most people only want to body slam little guys. They don't want to body slam guys as big as The Rock, you know, because they know they can't pick the bastards up. Where somebody like me who's 5'3", maybe a buck 25 pounds, you know, it's going to be a whole lot easier for a 200-pound man to fling me around like a rag doll versus trying to fling around Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Because, you know, he's got strength and he's 6'5", and he's every bit of 300-plus pounds, you know, all muscle. Where I'm a buck 25, mostly muscle, a little bit of fat, and if I'm going against a guy his size, I gotta take him out. I can't be playing with the guy. You know, he's way bigger than me, so he's way stronger than me. That does not make him a better fighter. It just means I need to have my points straight, and I need to have all my ducks in a row. When the fight begins, I have to be focused on one thing: surviving that fight. Not winning, surviving. And in this incident, the cop sat on the man's neck. He probably snapped that man's neck and didn't know it. And you don't die instantly from a snapped neck. For those who don't know, if there's any doctors watching, you know. Sometimes you can live 3 or 4 days with a broken neck and not know that your neck is broken and not die, and it'll heal itself, or you can die instantly from a broken neck. It just depends, you know. Depends on how severe that break is. And that's the thing people need to understand. That dude could have been like half dead when he was begging for breath. You know, the damage is done. He sat on the dude's neck. And your neck is so easily the weakest part of the human body. And everybody says, oh, well, you're a man. Getting kicked in the testicles is pretty effective. Yes, it is. But getting hit in the throat is an instant knockout. Because when I was younger, and people used to bully me, I would think of ways that I was taught to fight. If this scenario happens to me, what should I do? And then my uncles who like boxing would always say, punch a man in the head and the body will follow. Not always. Punch a man in the throat, the breath will stop. That is fact. So, with that guy's knee, well, the officer's knee in the compliant black man's neck, it was pretty much a done deal that he was going to wind up dying. And the officer probably knew better and just chose not to do what was right. And I still, to this moment, don't understand what happened between crossing the street and how they managed to wind up back behind the car. The guy was handcuffed behind his back. Y'all go check out the video. I'm going to make my third and final video on this, and hopefully you guys understand where I'm